So this is a Frontier run with Yodo and OP12 and Mythian. And for this week, we have Sealy as the fourth boss, which is probably something that really needs attention on the first phase. The first and the second one you don't really need to waste relics for. The most important thing is basically the third one, which is Valkyrie. Valkyrie really needs all the damage boost that you can get. So for the first one, obviously if you're running it with Mythian, running it with someone that's pretty strong, they're gonna die pretty fast. Also the second one is a matter of like certain mechanics. For example, Vulcan can run away, right? So you want to make sure that you have a way to like respond to that. In this case, we don't. After they run away, you can use your like buffs or like something like Shiro skill in here in this case. So definitely don't waste your resources until the mob or like the boss do what they're supposed to be doing. Like if they have any escape like thing, right? So in this case, Valkyrie gets frozen. So the damage output here is fine. It's getting better at this point, but I think once Valkyrie flies up, depending on what happens, it's gonna slow down a lot. The best thing when Valkyrie flies like this is that you're sticking with your team, so that way like she's not flying too far. You actually don't want to keep chasing her when she flies. Or if you want to chase her, you want to make sure like everybody chasing her together as well. So this is a short version of this fight. If you're fighting when you have lower DPS, the fight is basically prolonged to like an extent where it can get really dangerous because this is so weird. Because she basically throws those spears and it can kill people if you're not dodging. So Sealy's supposed to be doing an AoE damage here in the beginning of the stage. She kind of skipped it altogether. When she does the AoE, you have to basically be right next to her. So what I'm doing here, I'm anticipating that. As always, shatter is really important. Unfortunately, we didn't shatter, I think. Actually, we did. So as you see, Yodo is like walking around there. I think he was trying to do dodge attacks, which is okay. But ideally, if you're a lower CS person in Frontier, you actually want to not spam your discharge. You want to make sure that you have discharge and skill, especially if you're playing Saki for Shatter, because that is most of your Shatter damage. The dodge attack is okay, but it's just not that reliable versus like really big shield like Silly or like the bosses. So in this case, I'm paying attention to who has the aggro, and Amethian has it for the most part. If someone has an aggro, naturally what you want to do is actually stand behind the target, right? Because when you think about it, if this boss is facing Amethian, obviously it's a little bit hard because he's moving around, but you want to be behind the boss because then you're not going to get hit within the projectiles that are surrounding Amethian or like moving towards Amethian. I died there. So this isn't too bad if no one else is dying. if it doesn't reset. But yeah, overall pretty easy runs. OP's dealing a fair bit of damage, which is really good. Always useful when you can do damage. If you can't really do damage, what you can do is you can tank in Frontier. And a lot of people say like tanking in Frontier is really bad. But being honest, when you're taking aggro and your DPS can deal so much damage uninterrupted, it's actually really, really sick. So if you ever see people saying, you know, tank is not important or whatever, or healer is not important, it's completely false. It's a very like elitist mindset, I would say. And there you go. 5 chests at 2 minutes 20 left. So